Welcome, Drink with James, episode 98. Last episode, I promised y'all that I was going to wear a special blazer. You might be thinking, I've seen this blazer before, James, this is not that special. That is because I haven't changed yet. So, look, I know what you're saying. It's a little loud, it's a little southern. Curran actually just picked this up from Drake's, and they were like, I don't think anyone's ever worn that jacket sober before. And look, it is partially true. Now, I want to give you the fairest chance to be able to help me make the decision on if I should buy this jacket. Let us remember it is $1,500, which is a huge amount of my disposable income. So, for reference, let's go back to the old one. So, again, for reference, this is the old one. Now, we're going to go back again. Ready? So, here we are. Listen, I was just talking to Tim about this. I love clothes. I have this problem. Okay, so here's my issue. I've got this Venn diagram. Here's the part of me that loves clothes, and here's the part of me that is very, very cheap and doesn't like to spend money. It is, oh, actually we have a three-sided Venn diagram. What do you call that?
Tri-Venn diagram.
Tri-Venn diagram. Triagram. Three-way Venn diagram. Me that loves clothes. Me that is very cheap. Me that is an enormous snob. So it is very hard for me to find something I like that I don't think is tragic, that I feel comfortable spending the money on. Now, as I said before, this jacket is very expensive. It is also beautiful. Drake's is a classic English menswear company. They started with ties. They're over 100 years old. This is probably the nicest Madras blazer in the world. This is not like your frat boy's blazer. It's made in Italy. I don't even know how they made this cloth. It's completely insane. And I was just saying to Tim, like, I wouldn't wear this jacket very often, but it's also not something you could get anywhere else. And this is like, what's interesting with menswear versus women's and fast fashion versus luxury fashion is like, there are certain things that you just can't get unless you spend money. And so like, I could go into J. Crew and get a Madras jacket, but it is going to look terrible. It's going to be the same way that like every frat boy in UGA wears once on like the big spring game with like khaki shorts and like a belt that's like pink and has palm trees on it, and their fucking shorts have lobsters on it, and they like are there with a red cup and the shaggy haircut and like the gross breath. I'm not that guy. So this is like an elevated version of it, and I could wear this for the next 20 years, and maybe I would only wear it, 5 or 6 times a year, but it is a, I just wore it around the office and everyone was like, whoa, what the hell is that? Like, it is a statement piece. So, this brings up a bigger question, I'm sure something that y'all think about with your followers is that like, when do you push people to invest in those pieces? You guys know I'm a Tom Brown fan. That's another example of like, you can't get the look and feel of a Tom Brown suit for $500. You just can't do it. So like, if you want to have that style, you have to buy a Tom Brown suit. So for me, that is a thing that like, granted I can't buy, maybe I could buy one a year, probably more like one every 2 years. But it is something that I feel like is worth the money because it is so special and it is so unique and different and the quality level is so insane. So, it's interesting because I see influencers, a lot of times, you're posting about more affordable pieces, and that makes sense because most people, don't have a huge amount of money to spend on clothes. But also interested about like what y'all think about, pieces that you need to invest in, how often you do that, and how do you talk to your followers about it? Like, I would actually be interested. Okay, here's my real question to you guys. Throw in the comment a link to your Instagram where you have encouraged your followers to splurge and invest in a piece that maybe feels like a bit of a stretch, and why you did it. Because I am legitimately interested in that. I think that like, it's an interesting question. And if you think about what, especially in fashion influencers, I think traditionally used to do, which was very much giving advice. Hey, buy this, don't buy this, don't buy that. There used to be more of that, of like, hey, you should be thinking about investing in this because it's going to be classic forever, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, this has nothing to do necessarily with like how to do a sponsored post better or things like this, but like, what's my point here? Look, this may seem completely random. In a lot of ways, I am building this intro around my desire to have borrowed this jacket for the afternoon and done that fun snapping thing where I change. But I have seen this happen before where like, ideally you're getting more successful as you get older and you do your job for longer, no matter what that job is. And if that job is giving people advice on what to buy and what, you know, beauty products to buy, what to, you know, what clothes to buy, where to go on vacation, where to eat out, then ideally you know, what you want to purchase yourself is getting more and more expensive. And so I have seen influencers struggle with the transition from suggesting lower cost products to suggesting more luxury products. And I think it is a typical chasm for people to jump over. If you got your following by showing women how to wear Old Navy and make it look elevated and chic and cute and all of that, then what do you do when you stop wearing Old Navy? You know, what do you do when you legitimately as a consumer are not wearing that anymore? Now you could still incorporate that, but is that going to come off as authentic if that's not your lifestyle anymore? Are you living in a, you know, let's say you have $1 million house, you're killing it on Instagram. You move into this big house and you do the whole, you know, your entire house is hashtag sponsored. Like, are you still purchasing those cheaper products? If not, are you trying to transition your audience into, you know, are you trying to take your audience on that journey with you? Are you trying to find a new audience? This is a part of the show where I don't actually, you know, have a great answer for it, but it is something I've seen a number of times of influencers pricing like their lifestyle no longer aligning with the lifestyle of their social media feed. Or what I'm saying is like, if they were generally suggesting low-cost products, those people are no longer buying low-cost products. So their ability to authentically speak about them goes away and they're left in this kind of weird limbo. So I asked a few questions there. I will jump into the comments on this one and have a conversation with y'all. You can also email me. I'm just generally interested in it. And then like, should I buy this jacket? That's the real question here. It's a lot of money. Is it worth it? Or should I just be like, oh, James, you'll be over it in a week and like, it's not worth the money. Let me know what you think. Question number 1 is, how should we price YouTube collaborations? Is there an approximate formula or industry standard based on following, views, like there is on Instagram? Should we focus on engagement like Instagram? Let me just say for my YouTube friends out there, I'm sorry I don't focus more on the platform. It is a focus of Fohr's over the next year to work with more YouTubers, to understand the space more. And so it's a more fractured, less open, less like democratic space in general. Now, back of the napkin, if you have 50,000 followers on Instagram, you know, I'd say you're probably charging $250 to $500 for a post, dependent on any number of things which we've talked about before. If you have those same 50,000 followers on YouTube, I would say you're charging $750 to $1,000. So I think like 50% higher. If you know what CPM is, I think generally around $15 CPM is fair for YouTube. So take your number of subscribers, divide it by 1,000, multiply it by 15. That will give you a rough idea of what you should be charging. Also understand that video is hard to make. If you have to hire a videographer, if you have to rent out a studio, if you have to rent lights, all of that can be kind of folded into creating that video because it is different than just taking a photo. So there's a number of things there. Should you focus on engagement, following, views? Engagement is always important. I think that people are going to want to see comments. Like Instagram, you know, we've talked about conversations happening in comments. I think YouTube does a great job of this, of like there are conversations going on inside of the comments. Certainly there are still the comments like you get on Instagram. Oh my God, you're so perfect, you're so beautiful. Oh my God, goals. That stuff still exists, but I also think that because the videos are so much longer, because there's generally a lot of talking, there's a lot of stuff to comment on. And so you get more insightful, interesting comments that can create conversations. So I think that you should be driving that. I mean, Tim was just saying that, you know, I was struggling last week. I was talking about writing and I was like, hey guys, let me know who does a great job in their captions of writing on Instagram. And a lot of you answered that question, and I've since gone and followed a lot of the influencers that you mentioned. So one, I appreciate that, but I do think that YouTube can engender these conversations really well. So I would focus on that. I mean, of course, views are going to be important. If you have 50,000 subscribers and you're getting, you know, 100 views a video, that's okay. That looks weird. I know a metric that we look at Fohr for success is we really don't focus on views. We don't get a huge amount of views. You know, we have a niche, right? Like, if you are making comedy videos, then like, yeah, you better be like getting a shitload of views. You better be making that stuff go viral. If you're doing something more niche that doesn't have as expansive an audience, I would focus on time watched. So, you know, a metric that I have Tim give me every Monday morning is how many thousands of minutes of watch time did the whole channel get the week before? And what was the average time viewed of a video? So how engaged is this person? Once they watch one video, are they watching 30 seconds and moving on? That's what you would do on a viral video. You might watch a few seconds of it, close it. You're not going to that person's channel probably. You're not going to follow them likely. Maybe you will, but the chances are pretty small. You've consumed that content, you've like snacked on it, it's gone. You click on the next suggested video in your sidebar. You're probably not following that person. But having an audience that's every week, that's checking it, that's consuming it, getting people that are coming in and watching your video and then watching 10 other videos and kind of binging on it. These are the things that you want to be able to tell that story to brands. And we talk about storytelling with brands all the time. It is on you. The onus is on you to be able to understand how to tell your story to brands effectively. And you have 50 data points ahead in front of you, okay? And you need to pick the ones that help you tell the story that you need to tell, right? And like, success doesn't look the same for every single person. And it doesn't look the same for every account. And so again, for Drink with James, people will ask me, how's it going? How's Drink with James going? What's going on there? And I'll be like, yeah, look, we don't have a lot of views. And I'll just like start with that. Like, when we invite influencers on, right? You invite Jenny from Margot and Me. She's got a huge following. Her videos get 10 times the views that ours get. But what I say to her is, look, I've got this community of brands and influencers who are watching this video. Not only that, the average person that hits play is watching it for 10 minutes. And last week we had 40,000 minutes of watch time. Like, people are coming here, they're spending time, they're investing, and they're sitting there and they're focused on it. And yeah, is it getting as many views as your 10 ways to wear a scarf video? Of course it's not, you know, because like, a lot of people want to wear scarves. Less people want to watch me get drunk and give influencer advice. So you need to be able to understand how to focus on your strengths. And this is true for any platform, it doesn't matter. Look at your data, focus on what's good, and figure out how to tell a story around that. Your ability to do that is your ability to sell to people and to pitch yourself to brands. So. The second that you stop asking for help is probably right as you crest the hill and start your eventual demise. I remember asking someone who's quite successful. It was a couple years into running Fohr Card, now Fohr. But back then it was Fohr Card. I was a couple years into running Fohr Card. I was very frustrated. I was tired. I didn't really know what I was doing. It wasn't working as well as I wanted it to. And I remember I was like, when do the sleepless nights stop? When do you stop worrying? When do you stop, wondering if it's not going to work, if it's not going to be successful, it's going to fail? And this is a person that runs a massive company of thousands of employees. They're like, if you're good, that never stops. Like, you literally, that never goes away. And I think that, the desire to ask for help comes from the understanding and self-awareness that you don't know the answers to everything, and that you're surrounded by people that might be able to help you. And the second that you feel like there is nobody in my life that can help you, fucking run. You need to find people, or you need to like check yourself and understand that like you're wrong. And again, yeah, if you find yourself feeling like you don't need to ask for help for anything, I think that you're probably on your way to that your eventual demise, because there is no person that has all the answers in this space. And you know, I sit on the show and I drink and I give you all advice, but every week that advice is culled from talking to my employees, to constantly speaking to influencers, to talking to brands, to reading online, to, you know, reading old, you know, books about advertising, to reading new books, to reading blogs, to, you know, talking to my parents. And I am constantly asking people questions and pulling in data and trying to learn and understand things. And that comes out of me, and it might seem like I am the person giving the advice, but it's just, I am just a, you know, semi-eloquent hose that is like spitting shit out that like other people have given me. So long and short, never, okay? Like if you didn't listen to anything I just said, you never stop asking for help. And if you're the kind of person that thinks you don't need help, then like, I'm not super interested in knowing you, so maybe stop watching the show. Right, listen, here's the thing. If you're the kind of person that thinks you don't need help, the fuck are you doing watching the show? You're like, it's not because I'm handsome or entertaining, so like, you think you need help. So, there you go. I guess my other point is, don't feel bad. There is nobody in the world, maybe other than Donald Trump, that doesn't think that they need help from somebody. And Donald Trump is a fucking moron. So, there isn't anyone that, Elon Musk, you know, look at any like visionary leader, any insane genius, ask them if they ask people for help. I bet they say every single day of my life. So don't feel bad about it, embrace it. Some of the most successful people I know are the best at asking for help. Something I've struggled with, honestly, because I'm a bit of a egomaniac. So I have struggled in the past with asking people for help, but I met a few individuals who were very successful, very smart, constantly asking for help, and it was inspiring to me. So, question number 3 is, at what point do you feel like a brand is taking advantage of the passion that you have for them? So, let's say you have 100,000 followers, you've been posting about a brand all the time, organically, and they are working with other influencers and not working with you. That's pretty annoying. Like I 100% I feel you, that is super annoying. Important to step back and think about a few things, right? Again, I will go back to the equation that we lay out a lot for sales, which is first you need a relationship, then you need validation, then you need an opportunity, and then you need like follow through, execution. Is that what we call it? Yeah, execution. So you need to know the people, they need to trust you and want to work with you for some reason. Then there needs to be an opportunity to work with them, and then once you work with them, you need to knock it out of the park. So if you constantly, I'll give a good example. I bought a Stetson 6 months ago. I'm sure you guys, if you follow me on Instagram, thank you. If you don't, come on. But I post myself in this hat. I love this hat. I love Stetson as a brand. I posted about them all the time. Like a couple times a week, I was posting about them. I was doing stories. I was doing Instagrams. I was doing it all. And I got nothing from them, right? And they shoot other people. They work with other people. I'm sure they gift product. I've never gotten anything from the brand, ever. But I've also never asked them for anything, right? So, 1, I don't know anyone at Stetson, okay? 2, there's no, have I been validated by them? I don't know. I mean, they see some person posting about them, but they don't really know who I am or maybe why I should work with them. And then is there any opportunity? I don't know what they're working on. I don't know how I could potentially fit into that, campaign or thing that they're working on. And so you take that frustration you have if you're working with a brand and they're, not working with them. If you're posting about a brand and they're working with other influencers, I hear this all the time, and step back and say, okay, what have I done? What have I done to put myself into position to get that work? First, do I have a relationship? Do I know them? If that's a no, then like, what do you have to put yourself into the brand's shoes. If you posted about them 4 times in the last month, okay? Or sorry, 4 times in the last 6 months. Okay, and if you're a decent sized influencer, 100K, and they saw those posts and they liked them or something, right? And they were like, oh, that was really nice. Okay, let's say they get 50 of those a day, people posting about them and tagging them. And maybe you're one of the bigger influencers that's doing it, but like they're bombarded with that stuff. Okay, then they have a campaign coming up. Okay, they work with their PR agency, and their PR agency says, here's 15 people we think would be good to work with. And they're like, oh, great. For them to work with you now, they don't know you. They have to say, wait, there was this woman a month or so ago who posted something and tagged us. I was actually thinking that we could add her into the campaign as well. Could you go out, let me go back real quick and go through the 400 fucking mentions that I have in my feed. Let me just like go back, find this post, copy, paste it. Let me send it to the PR agency so the PR agency can go and find that email and reach out to you and see if you're interested in doing a campaign and get your rates and then get you going. Like, it's never gonna happen, okay? So if you don't have a relationship with them, you don't know the person of the brand, it's probably not gonna happen. So step 1, meet them, reach out. Hi, I love what you guys are doing. Here's 10 times I've posted about you. I'm a huge fan. Is there anything I can do to help you? Is there anything you're promoting that I can help you with? Let me know. Okay? Step 1. If you do know them and they're still not working with you, honesty is the best policy, I find. So reach out and say, hey, I saw this campaign. First of all, congratulations, it looks amazing. I would love to be included in the next one. If at all possible. If there's some reason that we're not working together, I'd love to get on the phone and talk about that. There are some times when a brand loves what somebody is doing, but they're just not right for that brand to work with in an official capacity. Or for that specific campaign, they might not be right. They might only be focusing on the Northeast, and you live in Nebraska or Arizona or California. That has nothing to do with you. But if you don't reach out and ask them, then you can't understand what's going on. Now, if you reach out and you say, why didn't I get on this, and please be nice. Don't say, why wasn't I included in this campaign? Try and say, I love the brand, I'm a big supporter, I saw this campaign, I'd love to be included in the official work that y'all are doing with influencers. Is there anything I can do to better position myself for future campaigns? Influencers sometimes ask those questions of us, and I find them helpful. We try and be honest about what's going on, and for us a lot of times it's just, hey, there's so many people that we want to work with, we definitely have you on the radar. But those things matter. It matters. Showing a brand that you're hungry to work with them matters, and they remember that, and they want to work with people who are passionate about them. So don't start to feel like, oh, this brand is taking advantage of my passion. Like, if you're passionate about a brand, live in that passion and just be happy. Like, I love Drake's, right? I'm wearing this jacket, and like, would I love if they gave it to me? Absolutely, that would be amazing. Is it gonna happen? Of course it's not gonna happen. They're not gonna make a fucking jacket, right? Them not giving me the jacket, if they went and worked with somebody else who has the same following as me and gave them the jacket, would I be mad? Not really, because my following is mostly cyclists and women, like female influencers. So like, it doesn't really make sense for them to give me the jacket. I'm not talking to dorky menswear guys who are spending $1,500 on this jacket. So like, it doesn't make sense for them to gift me. Like, would it be frustrating? Potentially. Do I want something free? Yes. But it doesn't quell my passion for this brand. And it is business, it's not personal, and I don't think that you should like a brand less because they can't or won't work with you. If you want to stop posting about them organically, then like that is your choice and that is your God-given right. But I wouldn't, yeah, I just wouldn't take it that personally, honestly. So I have to get this jacket back or I'm gonna get in trouble, and it's very hot in this conference room and I'm gonna be sweating in it, so I'm sorry, Drakes. But thank you all